Dameon Pierce is plus 2,200 to win Rookie of the Year. BUSR.com/ESPN.
Shout out to BUSR.
Just a friendly reminder, he looked great. And I think that we do have to give the Texans offensive line a lot of credit for paving the way for Dameon Pierce, especially considering that Laramie Tunsil's not out there. Kenyon Green isn't there yet, but Lovie Smith intimated in his press conference afterwards that we might see Green in the starting lineup sooner rather than later. Pierce was explosive, and I'm glad that everyone got to see what we've all seen in training camp. And, of course, you saw a little bit of it in the Saints game, too. This has been him all training camp.
And this was a national game, mind you. So it was cool to look at the Twitter timeline and to see people that, understandably so, are not watching much of the Texans say, who is this Dameon Pierce kid?
It does kind
Why
of
didn't
suck
Dan Mullen use him more?
if you're in a fantasy football league, though.
Oh, yeah. The secret's out.
Now the secret's out.
The secret is out. Lovie Smith says the secret's out on Dameon Pierce as well. He was impressed with the running back.
They show you who should start, who should play. Damon has taken advantage of every opportunity he's gotten. I think for everybody that's seen him play, the few games he's played, you've been impressed.
It's a change in the way that we've heard Lovie talk about him, because earlier he was differential to the other running backs. All these guys are working their hardest. I remember when I asked him a question about it a couple of Saturdays ago, he immediately said, well, we got a nice running back room. But I think, as you said, that's the secret's out of the bag, and this guy is the guy. And, also interestingly enough, this was on the Amazon broadcast. Lovie Smith had a sideline interview, and he said, look, we're a running football team. Hearing that was interesting because I think it also sort of changes your expectations for Davis Mills and maybe what this team can be this year. They've been so bad at running the football the last 2 years.
You've brought up consistently that they're going to need running back help because of Davis Mills throwing the deep ball and the issues that he's had with that.
Right. I mean, look, you need to have something that sets you apart. And I understand that in today's NFL, most teams are trying to go the way of, hey, we're going to throw, and we're going to throw because if we're playing against a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, that's the only way that we can win.
Beat him, yeah.
But that's not what this team is right now. Davis Mills might be someone who impresses us, but at this point in time, Davis Mills is essentially a rookie and a half. He is going into now his first full season as the guy.
Yeah, because he didn't start all of last season.
Right.
Yeah.
It was Tyrod Taylor to begin the year. So with now this being a Davis Mills year, I still think that you want to put the majority of the workload on the running game, and we'll see if a different offensive line than last year, which was one of the worst in the game, and a running back core that features a running back with actual explosiveness like Dameon Pierce. We'll see if that's different this time around. But Lovie Smith thinks this is a running football team.
I was going to say, I will say this. Marlon Mack had some bright spots last night as well. I like Marlon Mack and Dameon Pierce and a couple of the other guys better than the Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, what is Mark Ingram going to do at this late stage in his career deal that we had.
You didn't say Rex Burkhead.
Last year.
Do you like Rex Burkhead?
We're iffy on Rex Burkhead. He had one or two games last year where he really stood out, and I know the front office likes him, so he's not going anywhere, let's be honest. I want to play this sound from Davis Mills on a bad throw that he had, and then I want your thoughts because you had some interesting ones.
That throw to Chris Moore down in the end zone after our defense got a turnover, that was a big one. Like I just said, it's where you miss, not where you end up throwing it. So got to give him a better ball away from the defender's leverage. And then the other throw I want back is probably the go ball to Nico on the right sideline that we ended up getting pass interference on. But I just hung that one up and underthrew it and would like to put a little more on it so we can probably, end up scoring on that play rather than just getting the pass interference call.
I'm so glad he said that about the last one, Vanessa. I was pissed when he underthrew that ball, and then the Amazon broadcast was sort of explaining, well, they told Davis Mills that he shouldn't overthrow Nico Collins. And I'm like, dude, he had 2 steps on the defender. If Mills hits that throw, that's a 40 to 50-yard gain. And Mills' deep ball accuracy, I do think it's iffy at this point in time. So I'm glad he brought up the 2 throws that he could have done a better job on. The throw that he had to Chris Moore in the end zone, that was a difficult play. The defender was in a really good position there, and Moore did almost make an incredible catch over the back of him, but the defender kept with it. He punched the football out. This was a C-plus performance from Davis Mills, which, by the way, is good. I think that very often you take a look at the grades that are given online for like a draft class or for anything. It's almost always B's and A's. My God, these schools these days, they're not as tough on their kids. This was an above satisfactory performance. I like the way that he rebounded from that sack that he took on the first play of the game, and he converts a 3rd and long to Chris Conley, and he made a nice little deft maneuver to avoid getting his leg amputated by a defender who was called for roughing the passer. I thought the first drive, he looked pretty good. There are other moments where I'm like, all right, there's still growth that needs to happen, and I don't think we should get too excited about Mills. But to go back to that comment, I'm glad that he brought it up.
Yeah,
that he said I need to be better here.
Kurt Heinich was pretty impactful last night. 3 tackles for a loss and a sack. I liked what I saw from him.
Very nice. Because he wears number 69.
Okay. We did not see Roy Lopez because he has a soft tissue injury, but again, just compared to what we had last year, I think that Roy Lopez is going to continue to evolve as a good draft pick.
I agree, and Heinich I do think factors into the defensive line conversation.
Yep.
Look, this was a terrible run defense too last year, and you need to have more bodies that can stop things up front, especially if you're not really 100% sold on the linebacker core. Other good defensive performances, Vanessa. Jalen Pitre's been good all training camp. He is always around the football, and I like seeing that out of a safety. I know Lovie Smith likes to talk to these guys about forcing turnovers, and if you remember from back in the day, Charles Tillman with the Chicago Bears is one of the best like fumble forcers that we've ever seen. I'm curious as to if Pitre always being around the football, if that's the next step of his game. Steven Nelson had a good game at cornerback too. We didn't really see much Derek Stingley, but Steven Nelson I felt like made a nice play down the sideline. And Jerry Hughes, 13-year veteran. I'm surprised. I did not think that we would see him show that kind of mobility. There was one play early on where he let Trey Lance get outside of him, and I was like, maybe he's showing his age there. But I thought he had a really good night, and that was a good addition that they made. 13 years into the league, he's still looking pretty good.
I was going to say he's got to be, let's see, he is 34. So for the NFL, that is no spring chicken.
No, not at all.
Kenyon Green did not start, but he did get in the game, and he had some solid flashes as well. Here's Lovey on Kenyon Green.
I can't wait to see the video, but the plays I did see, there's a reason why we drafted him in the first round. He's a good football player. I thought he did some good things out there, made some good plays, but he's capable of that. Eventually, Kenyon would be in the lineup.
That is the most important part of that clip.
Yeah, the eventually.
Because I thought, okay, of all the guys that are young players on this team, Vanessa, that he's the one that has the steepest uphill battle to getting on the field. You hear that from Lovie Smith, they're going to put him out there. And you know what? You should like that because that means that they're just going to play young players. And you're going to see whether or not they're good. It's the opposite of Bill
O'Brien, right?
Right.
Rookies don't know anything. Lovie Smith seems like he actually really believes in this rookie class.
Not just O'Brien. That's coaches across the league.
That's true, yeah. It's unfair to put it just on OB.
But you're right in that O'Brien was annoying with it. And at some point, you just got to put the guys out there and see whether or not that they sink or swim. And one of the benefits of being a team that's clearly in a rebuild is you can do that. You don't have to say to yourself, no, we have to put the best possible players out there. No, let the young kids play in a regular season game, see if they're actually any good.
So the defense has been not good the last couple of years. I liked the competent defense that I saw, like you said, the way that they were able to handle Trey Lance and the 49ers offense. Jalen Pitre says that this defense has more of a plan.
I would say we're fast, violent, and, we're looking to get the ball out, whether that's interceptions like y'all seen tonight. We had 2 of those, or strips. I think Coach Lovey and the defensive staff does a great job at preaching, turnovers and also, just playing very violent and fast. So when you combine those 3, you're going to do a great job at defense, whatever level you're playing at.
I mean, Lovey's a defensive-minded coach, so I expected an improvement, but it's good to hear that they have some chemistry and that they're gelling.
Those old-school Bears teams that had Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Peanut Tillman, among other players, they were so good at forcing takeaways. And look, you got to find a way to do that in this league when you do not have perhaps the best linebacker core, the best defensive line. You have to be creative. And I think that the first step is just having guys who are constantly around the football. And you've seen that from Pitre a lot at first. I love to see guys who constantly are near the play at the end of a play. Petre's there like every single play. Steven Nelson was doing that a couple of times. If you're around the ball, good things can happen defensively. Whether it's because you're coming in to help with a tackle, you're coming in to try to strip the football, or something like that. I want more of that, and I thought that last night they all did a very good job of it. It's not exclusive to one player, but Pitre really shined the most. And, we do have to give a shout-out, and I keep on forgetting his name, and I feel bad about this because I see his number 69, and I just act like a small child. But
Heinich, right?
Heinich, the defensive lineman.
Yeah, he was great.
He might be a sneaky little find for them.
John McClain tweeting this earlier. Since the Texans are in the second year of their rebuild, they should offer left tackle Laramie Tunsil to the Cowboys to replace the injured Tyron Smith. Texans are going to the playoffs. That might have been aren't. Cowboys are trying to repeat as NFC East champs. Tunsil is healthy and ready to roll.
Not a bad idea. I like that McClain settling into like sports talk radio mode now.
He is.
But that's not a bad idea because, look, you want to have Mills protected. And there was a moment last night where the left tackle who was stepping in for Davis Mills, poor guy, just got absolutely destroyed. First play of the game, and he almost killed Davis Mills and cut off his legs. Well, check that. He did sack him on the first play, and then it wasn't too long later where, again, coming from the blind side, Davis Mills almost got hurt. So if you want Davis Mills to get the most out of himself this coming season, you do need to have Laramie Tunsil. That said, I mean, it's not the worst idea because, I don't know what Tunsil's commitment level is. I get that he re-upped here, but it's hard to buy into the idea that he's bought in.
We still don't know what his injury was. We still we're never going to know that.
Right.